Ah yeah! I absolutely love this melody and the scene that we just saw with Mr. Tumnus playing the flute. I feel like it captures the air of mystery and wonder in Narnia so well. And this movie's gotta be the epitome of a fantasy story, right? I mean, it's the perfect example. That's what epitome means, of a fantasy story. It's got everything. Breathtaking landscapes, magical creatures, epic battles. Now, one scene I find particularly memorable is when the four Pevensey siblings, the protagonists, meet Father Christmas and he gives them all these weapons and tools as gifts. So in today's lesson, we're gonna watch this scene and unpack the advanced English in it. You will learn the name of all these objects along with several useful expressions you can use in everyday conversation. So let's do this. We'll watch the first part now with subtitles before we break down all the advanced words. Then we'll go to the second part, do the same, and at the end, I'll let you watch everything again without any subtitles, and I bet that you'll be able to understand it 100% then.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It certainly is, Lucy, since you have arrived.
Look, I've put up with a lot since I got here. But this...
We thought you were the witch.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, but in my defense, I have been driving one of these longer than the witch.
I thought there was no Christmas in Narnia.
No, not for a long time. But the hope that you have brought, your majesties, is finally starting to weaken the witch's power. Still, I dare say you could do with these.
Presents!
So magical, right? Okay, so we're gonna analyze now the English expressions that we saw in there.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It certainly is, Lucy, since you have arrived.
Look, I've put up with a lot since I got here. But this...
We thought you were the witch.
First of all, what would you call this jolly man in a red suit who brings presents to kids at Christmas? Santa Claus, Father Christmas, Saint Nicholas, Kris Kringle. All variants are correct. British people, like the Pevenseys, call him Father Christmas. In Narnia, he's a symbol of hope returning to the land. As we learn from the story, there had been no Christmas for a long time under the White Witch's rule. But now that Lucy and her siblings have arrived, hope and magic are finally returning. Now listen to this expression Susan used.
Look, I've put up with a lot since I got here.
To put up with something means to tolerate or endure it, especially when it's something difficult or annoying. Susan says she's had to put up with a lot since arriving in Narnia. Talking animals, magical creatures, and a world that defies everything she thought was possible. Check out this other example of this expression.
Baby, I cannot put up with your shoes being all over the house.
Why not? I put up with your terrible mother.
And by the way, did you know that you can practice all these expressions that you learned from our lessons on our own app? It's by far the best way to watch them. The learners who are using it, like Nargis here, for example, tell us the app is helping them retain all these words. And this is essential if you want to be able to use them in your next conversation in English. It's like Ethan and I say, use it or lose it. And the app is pretty smart. It automatically sets up the practice sessions for you with flashcards based on the words that you need to review the most. It's super easy to use. You'll learn more once you're there, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can click on that, unlock this lesson with Narnia for free, and you'll continue from there. And I'll see you inside.
We thought you were the witch.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, but in my defense, I have been driving one of these longer than the witch.
I
By the way, what do you call Santa's vehicle? That's right, it's a sleigh. Both Father Christmas and the White Witch in Narnia drive a sleigh. So when the children saw the sleigh approaching, they naturally thought the witch was chasing them again, which explains their fear. But Father Christmas defends himself by saying that he's been driving sleighs much longer than the witch. After all, he's been delivering presents for centuries. The phrase, "in my defense," is used when you want to justify or explain something you did that might seem wrong or be misunderstood. It's like saying, "to be fair," or "in my favor." See this other example.
Well, I may have given that very huge drug case to Hitchcock and Scully.
What?
In my defense, I was pretty sure you were never going to find out.
I thought there was no Christmas in Narnia.
No. Not for a long time. But the hope that you have brought, your majesties, is finally starting to weaken the witch's power.
Father Christmas addresses the children as Your Majesties, a formal title used when speaking to kings and queens. In the context of Narnia's prophecy, these 4 children are destined to become the rulers of Narnia and free it from the White Witch's tyranny. By calling them Your Majesties, he's acknowledging their royal destiny.
Is finally starting to weaken the witch's power.
The hope that the children have brought is starting to weaken the witch's power. To weaken something means to make it less strong, less powerful, or less effective. The word is incredibly versatile in English. For example, when talking about physical strength, you could say, "the illness weakened him significantly." Or about economic power, "high inflation can weaken a country's currency." Or relationships, "constant arguments begin to weaken their friendship." Or even confidence, "the criticism weakened her self-esteem." So yeah, this is a really useful verb for you to come back to when practicing vocabulary later if you're watching on the Real Life app.
Still, I dare say you could do with these.
I dare say is an expression that means "I think" or "I suppose." The difference is that it adds a polite, humble tone to your opinion as if you're being modest about stating what you believe. For example, "I dare say this is the best chocolate cake I've ever tasted." While more common in British English and formal settings, you might still hear it today, especially when someone wants to sound polite or diplomatic. Check it out in this example.
Forgive me, my lord. I'd have told you later, but they held a meeting this afternoon and they would like you as their patron.
Oh, how nice. I dare say that was always their plan.
I dare say it was, your ladyship.
I should be glad to accept.
Alright, now let's see what magical gifts Father Christmas has prepared for each of the children in the next part of the scene.
The juice of the fireflower. 1 drop will cure any injury. And though I hope you never have to use it.
Thank you, sir. But I think I could be brave enough.
I'm sure you could. Battles are ugly affairs. Susan. Trust in this bow, and it will not easily miss.
What happened to battles are ugly affairs?
Though you don't seem to have a problem making yourself heard, blow on this, and wherever you are, help will come.
Thanks.
Peter, the time to use these may be near at hand.
Thank you, sir.
These are tools, not toys. Bear them well and wisely. Now, I must be off. Winter is almost over. Things do pile up when you've been gone 100 years. Long live Aslan. And Merry Christmas! Juice of the fireflower. 1 drop will cure any injury. and though I hope you never have to use it.
Thank you, sir. But I think I could be brave enough.
I'm sure you could. Battles are ugly affairs.
Father Christmas gives Lucy a magical healing potion and a dagger, a small but sharp weapon designed for close combat. Unlike regular kitchen knives that have one cutting edge, a dagger typically has two sharp edges, making it double-edged. This means it can cut or stab from either side. In modern English, we also use double-edged figuratively to describe something that has both positive and negative aspects. Like, for example, social media is a double-edged sword. It connects people, but can also spread misinformation.
Battles are ugly affairs.
When Father Christmas says this, he means battles are messy, brutal, and unpleasant situations. An affair in this context means a matter or a situation, but we use this expression beyond just battles. For example, their divorce was an ugly affair, lots of shouting and lawyers involved. The whole scandal was an ugly affair that damaged everyone's reputation.
Susan, trust in this bow, and it will not easily miss.
Susan receives a bow, a weapon for shooting arrows, and a quiver, which is the container that holds the arrows. In modern English, we use the phrase another arrow in your quiver to mean another skill, tool, or option you can use to achieve your goals. Like, for example, learning to speak Spanish became another arrow in her quiver when applying for international jobs.
Trust in this bow, and it will not easily miss.
He means the bow won't fail to hit its target. To miss something means to fail to hit, catch, or reach it.
Though you don't seem to have a problem making yourself heard, blow on this, and wherever you are, help will come.
If you've seen the movie, you know Susan's always questioning things and speaking her mind. That's why Father Christmas is teasing her about not having trouble making herself heard. To make yourself heard in this other sense means to speak up confidently so others listen to you, especially in difficult situations.
Speak up. Raise your hands. Shout your answers. Make yourself heard.
Blow on this, and wherever you are, help will come.
In this case, he's saying this because he's giving Susan an ivory horn, a beautifully carved instrument made from elephant tusk. Now, if you blow a horn, you are forcing air through it to create a loud sound, usually as a signal or call for help. While you might not use a magical horn in real life, we still use the verb to blow with car horns. For example, the impatient driver blew his horn when the light turned green. And this brings us to a common English idiom. Can you guess what to blow your own horn means? To ask for help, to need no help from others, to brag about yourself. To blow your own horn or toot your own horn means to praise yourself or brag about accomplishments. It's often used in a humble way though when bringing up your successes, like, I don't want to blow my own horn, but I did finish the project 2 days early.
I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but my team and I have built something remarkable. So, Raven's Banquet is ready to launch.
What? You did this?
Well, you know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but yes, I did, and just like that, Jonah is gone forever.
Alright, let's recap these words. Can you name all these objects? Awesome. Now let's move on.
Thanks.
Peter, the time to use these may be near at hand.
Peter receives a sword and a shield, the tools of a true warrior. The protective case that holds the sword is called a scabbard, usually worn on a belt or across the back. You may also hear the word sheath to refer to the same object. And when you're ready to fight, you draw the sword, meaning you pull it out of the scabbard. When Father Christmas says the time to use these weapons may be near at hand, he means it's close by or about to happen soon, said in a more informal way. See this example.
Our horse has cast a shoe. Is there a smithy nearby?
Ah, you can try old Crump in the next village.
Thank you. See, helps at hand.
These are tools. not toys. Bear them well and wisely.
To bear something in this context means to carry or handle it with proper care and responsibility. It's not just about physical carrying, it's about the moral weight of using these weapons appropriately. Father Christmas is saying, use these weapons responsibly and with wisdom.
I must be off.
The phrase, I must be off, is a casual, typically British way of saying, I have to go now, or I have to leave.
Winter is almost over. Things do pile up when you've been gone 100 years.
When things pile up, they accumulate or build up over time, usually more than you can handle easily. Think about what happens when you don't check your email for a week. The messages pile up.
Look at all these dishes piling up. I used to just throw them in the sink and they'd be magically cleaned by morning.
I did that. I cleaned the dishes.
Oh.
Father Christmas has been absent from his duties for 100 years because of the eternal winter, so he has a lot of work waiting for him. Now, did you notice the way he pronounced this phrase?
Winter is almost over.
This is a good example of connected speech, the way natives cut, reduce, and connect words together when they speak. Let's see. Looking at these 4 words, we can observe all of them end with a consonant sound followed by a vowel sound in the next word. So each consonant links to the following vowel. The R from winter links to the word is. Winter is. The Z sound from is links to almost. Is almost. Then the T from almost links to the word over. Almost over. So instead of pronouncing the words separately, winter is almost over, we hear him say, winter is almost over. Cool, right? Now you try it.
Winter is almost over. Winter is almost over. Long live Aslan!
Long live Aslan is an expression of loyalty and respect, like saying, may Aslan live a long and prosperous life. You often hear this phrase in movies or books when people are showing devotion to their ruler or beloved leader. Long live the king, or long live the queen. Alright, now it's time for the most important step of the lesson. We're gonna test your comprehension by watching the entire scene all at once without any subtitles, and I'm gonna ask you some quiz questions just to see how well you've understood everything. Let's do it.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It certainly is, Lucy, since you have arrived.
Look, I've put up with a lot since I got here.
Susan says she's had to put up with a lot since she arrived in Narnia. What does put up with mean? Organize or arrange something, accept or endure something, protect yourself from danger.
But this...
We thought you were the witch.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, but in my defense, I have been driving one of these longer than the witch.
What does it mean when you say, in my defense? You are accusing someone else of doing something wrong, trying to protect yourself from danger, explaining your actions.
I thought there was no Christmas in Narnia.
No, not for a long time. But the hope that you have brought, your majesties, is finally starting to weaken the witch's power. Still, I dare say you could do with these.
Presents!
The juice of the fireflower. 1 drop will cure any injury.
And though I hope you never have to use it.
Unscramble the letters to find the name of this weapon. Dagger.
Thank you, sir. But I think I could be brave enough.
I'm sure you could. Battles are ugly affairs. Susan, trust in this bow, and it will not easily miss.
What happened to battles are ugly affairs?
Though you don't seem to have a problem making yourself heard.
When you make yourself heard, you speak confidently so others listen, speak slowly so others don't misunderstand you, listen carefully to what others are saying.
Blow on this, and wherever you are, help will come.
Thanks.
Peter, the time to use these may be near at hand.
Thank you, sir.
These are tools, not toys. Bear them well and wisely. Now, I must be off. Winter is almost over.
Choose the best word to complete the sentence. If you don't deal with your emails regularly, they'll start to pile up, pile over, pile in.
Things do pile up when you've been gone 100 years. Long live Aslan. And Merry Christmas!
Ah yeah, great job guys! Now if you are new to this channel, you should know that every single week we make new lessons just like this one with your favorite movies and TV shows to help you understand fast-speaking natives without getting lost, without missing any jokes, and without subtitles. So if this sounds like something that you want to be able to do, hit the subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss any of our new lessons. Now remember to go and practice everything that you learned today on the Real Life app. Just click the link in the description below to get started with your vocabulary practice right away.
Not at all. Self-reliance is the key to a vigorous life. A man must look inward to find his own answers. How can I be of help?
All right, well, I don't really know how to put this, and please don't take it the wrong way, but isn't everything in this museum supposed to be, you know,
dead?
Yeah.
Follow me.